So hello and welcome to Film Mixologist, the place on the internet thingy where inflation ends up killing all of us. Case in point, this package that I've got here, and the reason why I say inflation is because this package here contains $1,000 worth of Holley spares. Yeah, so in this video what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a little bit kind of behind the scenes of the logistics of my kind of parts that I need. This is about an entire year's worth of supply of Holley parts for me. So what I'm doing here is I've got inside this box, I've got a mixture of really common parts and really specialist and impossible to find parts. Now, one thing that I need to say is that as a matter of principle, you might look at this and say it's crazy to buy so many parts up front when you're going to be using it throughout the year. It ties up a lot of your working capital, and that technically is true, but there are some circumstances by which I economically it makes sense for me to do it this way. So let me explain. So the first one is, obviously I'm based in the United Kingdom, so if you're watching this kind of in the US, I mean, you can, and you're working with Holley carbs, with endeavour carbs or whatever, for you it's quite simple, because you can get stuff probably next day. You can get pretty much a lot of parts delivered right straight to your door. Yeah. Now for me, this is quite different, because for me I've got a lead time of about, I bought this 2 weeks ago, thereabouts. So therefore, for me to receive the parts and have them ready to go, it's much more of a wait than for you guys based in the US. And also the other thing is that I sometimes have to rebuild customer carbs, so therefore I need to have, when they send it in, they generally want them back, as soon as possible, because either the boat is without a carb or the car is without a carb. So therefore they need them kind of turn around quick, and that's why I need to have quite a large stock of parts, so that any carb that comes in through the door, I'm able to turn it around and send it back to the customer. So now what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start kind of opening this up, and I'm going to start showing you what are the bits that are kind of rare, or what's the other things you could get in a normal rebuild kit. So for you to have an idea, I've got about 20, I've got material here to fix about 20 carbs, but I'll show you in more detail kind of what are the different parts and why is this so expensive. Okay, so now I've got the stuff out of the box, and what I've got, the way I've got it is I've got them like separated logically into like two different areas. So I'm going to show you what that distribution is, because I've got all the common rebuild parts that you can get pretty much in any kit on one side, and all of the stuff that is, let's just say, more difficult to obtain or that you will never get in a kit. So let's walk around it and let me show you what they are. Okay, so first thing, these are the cork gaskets for the idle mixture screws, which you can get in pretty much any kit. These are your fuel transfer tube O-rings, which come in most kits. Power valve gaskets, which come in most kits, standard kits. All of these gaskets that you can see here, all of this. Obviously, as I do Holley carbs quite a lot, I have a lot of this. These are your fuel pump diaphragms, 30cc jobbies, again very common. Power valves, very common in any kind of rebuild kit. So these are kind of like I would say like a standard thing. These are your nylon washers for your fuel bowl screws. Again, they come in every kit. They might not be nylon, they could be kind of a fabric based ones, but they're all the same. They come in all kits. And then you've got your classic, needle and seat assemblies, which you need really to do a good rebuild. And this one comes with their own gaskets, which helps. I've got tons of gaskets, so I didn't need them. But anyway, so I've got them. So all so far we've got all the really common bits that come in every kit. So now I'm going to show you all the other bits that don't come in kits, and this is where I get my value out of the shipment, in a sense. So here we got the straight fuel inlets. These ones don't come in kits at all. So these ones are, and these are Earls actually, so they're actually of pretty good quality, reputable firm. This kind of linkages for vacuum secondaries, they're quite important, just in case, because sometimes you get carbs that have this missing, and therefore it's important to have spares so that I can put carbs back to work. These are needle and seat O-rings, and this, when I get needle and seats that are good enough that can be recycled, I always replace the O-ring, and that should make it good. These are vacuum plugs. Again, they don't come in some kits, or I should say they don't come in most kits. So I buy them in bulk like this, to be able to plug the vacuum ports. Now this is something that is pretty special. Now this is a set of stainless steel throttle plates for a 750 CFM carb, and these are, I would say, here in the UK are pretty much unobtainable. So this is something that you don't see every day at all. Now going to this pack now. So what we've got here, so I think you can see there, this is a primary and two secondary shafts. So I've got the secondary shaft of a double pumper and the secondary shaft of a 4160 vacuum secondaries type carb. Again, this sort of stuff in the UK is pretty much kind of unobtainable, or very expensive, so it makes sense for me to have it delivered. These are a couple of choke coils. It's always good to have a couple of these handy. Again, they are not impossible to obtain, but they're not cheap around here, so always good to have a couple of these. Then these are the throttle plate screws. These are stainless steel throttle plate screws. I've got 100 of them, so therefore this is again unobtainable around here, and also they don't come in your general rebuild kits anyway, unless you buy a master rebuild kit, in which case you might get but a different model. So these are real winners, and I can't obtain them otherwise. I do have now, as you can see, a couple of jets here. You can see the sizes that I bought there, and the reason I did so is because, as you can see, I have need for a couple of sizes here and there. So these are, again, difficult to obtain, expensive around here, but for me now I've got the supply that I need. This one's also another item that is difficult to obtain, generally does not come in kits, which is your diaphragms to replace your vacuum secondary carb. So this once again very important, and it's always handy to have them. I don't want to have the customer waiting. Then these are the power valves that are not 6.5, so I've got 2.5 and 8.5 power valves. These are to fix marine carbs, so generally they are required for that type of work, so not to keep the customer kind of hanging. And last but definitely not least is this little bag here that is full of brand new hardware. So I've got in here, as you can see there, I have got idle mixture screws, I've got needle and seat assemblies, I've got base plate screws, and I've got long screws for the fuel bowls, and I've got a couple of little ones, I don't know, yeah, there you go, you can see it there, a couple of little ones that are there for the choke flaps. Again, all of this unobtainable here in the UK, new or very expensive, very difficult to obtain.